and all of us here tonight. So thank you very much for your time. I do want to emphasize that we have handouts here. They generally follow these, the next several pages have some topics for discussion and reference handouts that you can use to generate questions or ideas. And that's a good idea if you do wind up breaking out to use that one that's called CCMA Public Scoping Issues. There's 10 questions. That'll get you started. It's only a suggestion, but it's a good way to get these things identified and into the RMP EIS process. So thank you again
quick
for coming. Yes, sir.
Are you going to have a list of all the groups and entities that we're supposedly collaborating with?
Well, on the comment forms and generally on the sign-in sheets, it says that individuals can request to have their names withheld if you desire. To a certain extent, we can only do so much if things get petitioned by the Freedom of Information Act. We do have to provide all the list of participants and commenters, but organizations do not have that benefit of privacy. So all of the organizations that provide comments will be identified specifically. So yes, the answer is yes.
As part of the process, they will be identified.
Yes.
All organizations.
Yes,
okay.
they will. And I do want to let Steve make a statement here, but I'll address this gentleman's question.
Question, is this Clear Creek only, or is this reinstating an OHV area?
When we talk about the scope of the EIS, which is generally this blue group, we can talk about expanding this environmental impact study to include consideration of other OHV riding areas, but I do want to put it within context that as we begin to increase the scope and the complexity of the CIS, it increases the time frames and other issues related to planning.
That would have a totally different impact on us if there's an alternative versus...
I think that's a great question and an issue that you should be identifying in these discussions and hopefully getting captured in your comments. So I do understand, but we have limited time, so I want to let Steve make his statement here and then really encourage everybody to stick around, get involved with some of these groups. It seems like we have generally enough room here, and encourage everybody to be participating and hopefully getting right into this action. So Steve Chappelle, thank you very much.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Okay. I didn't bring a slide. I'm going to take out my one slide that I need for this. I also need a microphone. I think you can all hear me. We're talking about public lands, and I think that we owe the respect to the people that have protected our public lands with a Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you.
Are we going to get sued for saying God in that now again?
How many people here would like to go to Clear Creek? How many of you here believe that the EPA report is the gospel of how we should accept Clear Creek being closed? We're here tonight as a democratic republic to help the BLM understand that we understand they have an issue. They have this EPA report hanging over their head. They feel it's their duty to protect the public from a public land, but it is a public land. The BLM works for us. We're the taxpayers of this country that not only pays for those public lands, but also pays for them to be maintained. So we're here to help them out. We're going to show them how we, as concerned OHV citizens in our community, are going to stand up and say, okay, you have a problem. We're going to help you understand how to fix the problem. So we're going to share with you our ideas on these scoping documents, not only tonight, but the handfuls that you'll grab and take home to your friends and family members that are also fellow OHVers, dirt bikers, Jeep enthusiasts, to go back out and rejoin our lands in unity. It's not just about one part of the community, it's about all of us. And when we start fighting individually that, the Jeeps rule, or the dirt bikers rule, or the AMA rules, or the BRC rules, we all lose. It's one voice. The voice is that we are united in our community. And we will stand up with our brothers and sisters in each one of the other communities, each one of the other clubs, and continue to fight until our public lands are under the control of the BLM as managed lands for OHV use in the designated areas that have already been set up. That's what they're there for. How many of you people here tonight went to the public meeting in Santa Clara? Okay, now with your hands still up, how many of you went to the meeting on Monday in Hollister? And how many of you went to the San Benito County Board of Supervisors meeting when they closed the county roads?
No notification.
Well, my good friend Ed Tobin was there, and I was there, and we were fighting to keep the county roads open. We were fortunate enough to take a 5-0 vote and sway it from a 3-2, but 3-2 was closing the roads. The two supervisors which helped keep the roads open, which are Supervisor Marcus and Supervisor Botello, realized the silliness of the county being dragged into having to close county roads over a risk assessment. This is not a public warning that says everyone that's gone to Clear Creek is dead. There's no epidemiology. There's no mortality risk that has been established. It's a risk assessment. So if we feel that way, let's try to work with the BLM to show them how they can lower the risk that is under the assessment in order for us to all go back and ride. When I was at the Monday meeting, I had some bad news. Now I have some good news. The good news is that we are not standing alone, that we are not just a public united to try to fight off the big bad BLM. We also have our constituency working with you, and that's the American Motorcycle Association and the Blue Ribbon Coalition, as well as groups like the Friends of Clear Creek Management Area. All of us together work with those groups in order to continue on our fight to save OHV in California and to save OHV throughout the United States. I was fortunate enough to speak to Ed Moreland, who's the Executive Vice President and part of the constituency group with the American Motorcycle Association that's in Washington, D.C. today. He called me from Washington, and his words to you are, we're all here fighting together, and they will be representing us at the Senate Committee on June 5th, which is a Senate Committee led by the Senate Committee of Energy and Natural Resources. The AMA will be there, and so will the BRC. The leadership of both of those groups takes this issue very seriously. Clear Creek Management Area is the poster child of that issue. It will not stop until it's over. So let's all continue to be united. Let's all continue to write and rally against our political officials and tell them that this is not acceptable to us without an end result. And the end result should be that Clear Creek should be conserved properly. All of our OHV areas should be conserved properly by those people that we have charged to be in charge of those lands. That's what they're paid to do. A couple other quick things for you guys.